This was our first test flight with the DJI Mini 5 Pro Fly More kit. The Fly More kit includes an extended battery, 3 batteries in total, and a built-in viewfinder on the remote controller, which is a really nice addition. The Mini 5 Pro comes with a number of new features I was keen to try, namely an upgraded sensor for video work and several new obstacle avoidance features that were notably lacking in the previous version. Neither myself nor my brother had ever flown a drone before. We're complete beginners. The only experience we've had was with cheap toy drones, and only a couple of times at that. So we knew this was going to be a new experience for both of us, and the drone's been sitting in the box for about a month while we tried to find the time to sit down and learn to fly it. The idea was to find somewhere where we could fly away from people. We found a park near JCU, which is the local university, where we could launch with basically no one around, and it was perfect. It gave us the freedom to fly, test and experiment without any pressure, and from there we moved to a second location where we flew it under a tree canopy, because that's likely going to be one of the main environments we'll actually be using this drone in. Both of us took turns flying. The controller is extremely intuitive and easy to use. It has a couple of extra buttons on the back which you can customise, but for now we use the default settings and they work well enough. The auto takeoff function made getting airborne much easier. It lifts off, hovers at about a metre, and from there you take over. It is the same assistive functionality when you're landing. One of our main concerns was losing visual line of sight. Being so new to drones, we're worried that if we got too far away we'd lose track of it. We were initially trying to fly it the way you control a remote control car, which we quickly figured out was the wrong approach. Once it was in the air, it became obvious that navigating by looking at the drone itself versus navigating through the viewfinder are two completely different experiences. We found the easiest method was to focus on the viewfinder and trust what you're seeing there while having the other person act as a spotter. We were both surprised by the flight time. Once it was in the air, it felt like you could keep it up there for an extremely long time, which gave us plenty of opportunity to experiment. We tried flying it close to the ground, around a metre up, to see how that footage would look. We experimented with adjusting the camera angle while airborne, and we experimented with flying around and over objects. We found it surprisingly easy, even with no prior experience. The obstacle avoidance system impressed us. Flying towards a lamppost, a sign, a wall, or too close to the ground, it would slow and stop before making contact, with plenty of audio and visual warnings. The real beauty of it is that you can take your time, pause, take stock, and continue at a completely leisurely pace. One thing worth mentioning is that we had to keep our altitude fairly low, particularly over the beach, as we're flying in an airport caution zone, not quite within the restricted flight zone, but close enough that height restrictions applied. In future we'll be taken to locations without those restrictions, and that's when we'll get much more dramatic aerial shots. The other feature we used several times was the return to home function. When the drone's high up against a bright sky or there's rainforest behind it, it becomes extremely difficult to see. For a couple of older blokes like us, this happened more than once. Hitting return to home brought it straight back every time, and that function alone gave us a lot of confidence. For future use, we plan to have the drone follow us during walkthroughs in various locations and get into areas that normally would be difficult or unsafe to access with a conventional camera. Stony Creek, which we've been visiting recently, is a good example. There are waterfalls in areas we simply couldn't reach easily or safely on foot. The beaches and rainforests we have all around us up here are another obvious application. I think this drone is going to be genuinely indispensable for the kind of production work we want to be doing going forward. Of course, we were itching to get home, pull the footage, particularly after the beach shots, and seeing it on screen was quite eye-opening. Everything you'll see here was shot in 4K at 60 frames per second, which suits the kind of footage really well. We're going to be downscaling it for the purpose of this to 1080p. So our plan moving forward is to take this drone out considerably more. When we take the jet skis out to the reefs, when we head up to the rainforest, when we go forward driving, the drone will be coming alongside all the other cameras we use. All that footage will be uploaded to our new website coming soon at thisiscairns.com.au.